Right, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Eden Road podcast. For anyone watching on YouTube, welcome. We've got the quiz to do from Dan. He's going to share his screen and we're going to go through it. Before that, we're going to do something around the barrage of news that has kind of hit over the last few days. We've signed Caoimhin Kelleher from Liverpool. Mark Flecken's gone to Bayer Leverkusen. Thomas Frank's being linked to Spurs. We'll get into that as well. And of course, the rumours that were kind of confirmed by David Ornstein yesterday that Bryan and Mbeumo's preferred choice is Manchester United. So we'll go through that first. But just before we get going, I want to say, anyone in the comment section, if you want us to talk about anything in specific, or if you want Dan to repeat another question when we get to the quiz, just let us know. Anything with regards to the season, anything with regards to what we're going to talk about at the start, stick it in here and I'll put it on the screen so that we can discuss. But I'll go through the room first. Craig, how are we?
Yeah, very happy. Looking forward to this one. Hopefully Dan lives up to the expectations of last year as well.
Miranda, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm nervous for this quiz though.
Oh,
I'm nervous. Right. Very competitive, so
Dan, how hard is the quiz, Dan?
I've tried to balance it out. So each question has two parts to it. So I'm hoping maybe one part might be a bit easier, one part a bit more challenging. But obviously you guys go to all the games, so I can't make it too easy either. So I hope I've struck the right balance. And I've tried to take you on a journey throughout the season as well. But I'm just as nervous and I'm not even doing the quiz.
Callum, you're back. How are you, mate?
I'm back. I'm all good. I'm hoping the Wi-Fi works well. So, but we're all good. I'm glad to be back for what promises to be a good episode as always. And thank you to all my fans for tuning in as always. So good to see
you. Right. Okay. Should we talk about the news before we get into the quiz then? What should we do first? Should we do Bryan first? So I think it's a bit rawer. Craig, I'll come to you first, mate. I've made a couple of videos on it. I was baffled when I saw it. I think even when the rumours started to circulate, maybe before the season had ended, I was just thinking, please, not United. But what do you make of it?
It's like trying to get back on the Titanic, isn't it? Those that jumped off, it's like then trying to swim back onto it. The only reason I could imagine that anyone wants to go there is money, because they just seem like a club in freefall, and money is the only reason that I can think he'd go there. He's who'd have thought that going to Manchester United would be a backward step in your career?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fact that there's that much outrage, I was just surprised that, and I think the general consensus kind of is, how do they still have that kind of pull? Dan, you read an article, you heard something somewhere that he could be a Man United fan from when he was a kid. Is that right?
Yes, Jay Harris reported that, and obviously he was reporting on Brentford, not this season, but last season, so he would have had some contact with Bryan. I personally don't really care where he goes, as long as we get the money that we need for him. Of course, financially, it's a big incentive for him. Man United's ceiling, the potential ceiling of that football team is quite high, but the problem is they've failed for more than 10 years now. So there is no guarantee that anytime soon they'll get things right. Where does he fit into that side in terms of their formation? He'd probably be used as more of a number 10 in those half spaces. How will he settle into that side? I don't know. It's clearly a very big risk in terms of a footballing decision, because you just look at all the players that have been at Man United in recent years and how they move on from Man United and become better players. So Garnacho's another one. I think they're looking to sell in this summer. I think wherever he goes next season, he'll be, one of the best players, wherever that might be.
Are you in the same boat, Miranda, in terms of, because someone commented on my video, they don't care where he goes, as long as we get the money for him. And I understand that kind of point, but at the same time, in a similar way to when Tony left, like we were all a bit, well, actually, I guess it's different with Tony because all of the stuff that happened before them, but I still want him to do well. And I just think when you had the options there of Arsenal potentially or Newcastle, as Ornstein reported in that tweet, would you not rather go somewhere like that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Dan in terms of, like, if he's going to go, then the money needs to be there. Hopefully we get a ridiculous amount for him. But maybe Man United are just going to think, yeah, we'll just spend a lot, because it's the sort of thing that they would do. But I think on a personal level, I think that Bryan is so well thought of for us. Like you said, with Tony, sort of burnt his bridges a little bit. So you sort of thought, oh, why are you doing that? But it's not so much a frustration like that he'd go to Man United on a personal level. I think he can do better. I think you'd want better for him in a long-term situation. I don't even think it's just about, where Man United are as a club, like where they've just finished this year, not even just the last 10 years, but this season in particular, just, well, you can believe it, but at the same time, they shouldn't be where they are. And I just think if you're looking at his long-term career, I mean, he's in his prime. He's in his prime years. Like, why would you want to go there in what could be the long-term for you? I just don't think that's the right decision thinking forward for his career.
Callum, how much should we demand? I'll come to you on this one for a big old hot take.
I think 60, 70 million at least. Yeah. Anything less than 60 million, then Giles, come on, mate. We can do better. I think there's a player in there that we all know has come through the club, right from the last year at Griffin Park through to the player he is now, and the caliber of the player, he's sensational. He offers something, what a lot of players, can't. He is, he's got a fantastic left foot, great set pieces, tracks back, into defence as well. He's a quality winger that can offer a lot to any club. I noticed in the pointer someone mentioned about Newcastle. Certainly, I think Newcastle is a very good option, but the issue is there. They've got some very good wingers already with Gordon, Barnes as well, Murphy. They've got some very good options there. Personally, I wouldn't rule out Saudi. I said this with Tony, and that's exactly what happened. With all the money they're throwing around at the moment, I could see there being a little bit of a bidding war at some point between Manchester United and the Saudi club.
It wouldn't surprise me if Tony's got a word in and Al Ali end up going after him as well.
Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. The Saudi league is growing, as we've seen considerably. Duran went over there, obviously from Aston Villa, has done very well. I'll be gutted to see him go over there because, of course, I think the caliber of the player, he should be targeting playing in the top divisions, and I don't see that in the Saudi league currently at the moment, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, 60, 70 million, Mike, is the answer to your question.
I think that looking at the comments that are coming in, especially the one just a moment ago about Newcastle, I can understand why more a player might be tempted to go to Man United over Newcastle based on what you said, Callum. When you've got Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, is it Josh Murphy?
Yeah.
Who's had the season of his life, plus however many players they've got, and then you compare to what's at Manchester United. Bryan Mbeumo's probably looking at that Man United squad and going, I'm going to start week in, week out for Manchester United, knowing that if Garnacho's on his way out, he's going to be the number one wide player. They don't necessarily play in that formation, and it'll kill me if Amorim turns him into a wing back. But in my opinion, he's got more chance of success in terms of playing at Manchester United over Newcastle, because Newcastle is more competitive at the minute than what Manchester United actually is.
But I get that, but the system is the main thing for me, Dan. I know that in that system behind their main striker who's going to be playing as a 10, you could argue that we've been playing a sort of 4-2-3-1 this season, but he's more of a winger than he is a 10. And I don't see him. I see Ahmad comfortably on the right and him in that 10 position. I just don't know. It just confuses me. I think that comment that Matthew's just put in, what's the number that you would refuse to sell to you come the end of the window? What we want to avoid really is having that thing that we had with David Raya when the asking price was at like 40 and then we ended up dropping it down 10 million. So yeah, I don't know. Close us out on Bryan, Dan, then we'll get on to Thomas Frank.
I think the biggest thing as well for me is that I'd rather this happen soon. And given what we've read in the last couple of days, hopefully it could be over by the end of next week, one way or another. So I think the worst thing could be, even like Ivan Toney last year as well, it drags out. We don't have necessarily the time to find a replacement, and it doesn't benefit anybody because Bryan Mbeumo would obviously benefit from having a pre-season at Manchester United if he's to go there. And we want to move on like we did, and we're going to talk about it in a minute with Kelleher and Flekken. seamless transition. We're ready for next season in that department, and I just hope that whatever the outcome of this, that it's not long and protracted. But I do think, you know, Cunha set a precedent with Manchester United in the last few days, and I don't think we should be going below the value that Cunha went to Man United for.
Quick one before we end. Dylan asking, can you all talk about who your ideal Mbeumo replacement is? We cannot replace him. No?
You might be bringing a couple of players in instead of, you know, just bringing him in. I think when you see a big player go from a top Premier League side, especially when, you know, we're Brentford, we can't bring in the finished product necessarily at top wages and top value. So it wouldn't surprise me if we see a couple come in, a bit more depth across that front line, and hopefully between them they can help share the load.
Bit of Sancho, bit of Madueke. Anyone? No
Wages.
I mean, look, wages come into it, but look, Chelsea will want to sell. So, you know, I feel Madueke.
Rather Madueke, yeah.
I read he's a good player. I think he's a good potential. Stays in London. We got to look at that. You know, some players don't want to, you know, jump ship. They're settled in a certain area. Why jump ship? I mean, you said what you know. It's a player. It's a player in there. So I answered that question, Dylan. I would say absolutely.
I read that Bryan Mbeumo right now was on 45 grand a week at Brentford, and Madueke is only on 50 at Chelsea. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not beyond us going into the fifth season in the Premier League to be able to offer a player slightly more than what they're earning at Chelsea now. As a whole, that's a crazy statement, and it's not necessarily true for all of the top earners, but in that situation it is. But we've also just made Romeo Donovan a permanent signing, as well as promoted him into the first team. Mm-hmm. There are long-standing rumours of Yohan Bakayoko as well at PSV, but they've just won the league out there and got Champions League football. So I think that this might be one of those ones that once he's out the door, we can then start looking, because we don't know what kind of money we're going to get for him. And we don't know what kind of player Gustavo Nunes is going to be next season as well.
That's true. We've only seen him like, what, twice? 3 times maybe?
I think we should just push Onyeka into right wing, you know, just saying.
He's going out to... the rumours were he was going off to Greece, wasn't it? Onyeka? Like Olympiacos or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a quality performance the other day, just saying. Fantastic.
What, Onyeka?
Yeah. He blessed the G-Tech pitch not once but twice. So there you go.
And won a trophy on it.
There we go.
Couple of linked questions in the comments around the kind of front three next season. We've talked about it a little bit on the pod. It kind of depends really on who's fit. Obviously, we just mentioned Gustavo Nunes. Yohan Wissa could be another one that could be potentially out the door. We've got Igor Thiago, who's barely played any minutes this season either. KLP at left back. We've kind of spoke. I would like to see Schade on the right personally and take Bryan Mbeumo's position there, because when he first came in, that was his kind of preferred position. I'd definitely like to see him on the right instead of cutting inside all the time and actually using his pace to good effect. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Let's park the Mbeumo chat. Miranda, I'll come to you on Thomas Frank to Spurs, because that was, well, it still is. I've just kind of got a feeling in my stomach and I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't appreciate. I don't know if I think it was you who made it. Your video earlier where he literally was pictured with his little Spurs badge on. I didn't appreciate that. This is why I don't go on. This is why I'm avoiding like Twitter at the moment, because it's just too negative for me. I don't need this negativity in my life. Yeah, I mean, again, why? I've just let's say why. Why would you do that? I mean, I think we instantly catastrophize it because we're like, you know, obviously we don't want to lose him, but you can see why this happens every season. You can see why he's attractive to other clubs. I can see why he would be attractive to Spurs, given where they're going to be next season and what he could do for them. But I also, again, it's the same thing I'll say, and this comes just from like a personal level, just like Bryan. It's like you don't want Frank to be in a position where, why would you go somewhere where I don't think it would be secure? How do you know? Like, you literally slip up. He can see what's happened with Ange. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, why would that not happen to you? because I'm not saying that he wouldn't perform, but I just don't think it's a long-term permanent thing that would work for him. I just baffles me. But I do think as well that this happens. It seems to happen every season. Like there was just, I don't know how solid these rumors are or the links are. But I guess, like we said about Bryan, we just have to wait and see. Just gonna see what happens.
Anyone want to pick up on Thomas Frank to Spurs?
I think one day he will leave, won't he? When that day is, we don't know. And I think the biggest concern is obviously we lose players all the time. We've shown that we can replace them. It's been a long time, though, since we've had to recruit a manager. And I'm not even completely sure what caliber of managers we'll be looking at to replace him. And I just think that would be the biggest decision whenever that time comes. That would be the biggest decision we've made since we got promoted to the Premier League. And it's one we have to get right, because if we don't get right, you could see us sliding quite easily. And I think that's a worry. I also back us at the same time to make the right decision. But it's just been such a long time since we've gone for a new manager. And it's been, I literally have no idea, like, as to how well known any potential new manager coming in would be.
I've seen some people on Twitter like kind of suggesting that it wouldn't be that big of a deal if Thomas Frank left. And I'm just thinking, what? It would be. I would be so worried.
Those people are, Mike. I'll tell you. I'd love to know who those people are.
They're the people who agree with you.
It wasn't me who came out with any garbage like that. If Thomas Frank was to go, you lose such a main stake in the club. A person who's been around, for 2017? Was it 2017? I think he came in 2018. When he came under Dean Smith originally, got to know how the club operates, which I thought was incredible at the time. And then the way he came in, got off to a difficult start. I remember his reaction when we beat Millwall 1-0 at Griffin Park. The belief, how he felt, because he didn't win a lot of games. That was his first. I think he lost about 3 or 4 at his first 6, and a lot of people were calling for his head even then. And then we turned things around. And, I just think you lose a person like Thomas Frank and how he is with the fans. Like, I've had the privilege of meeting him on many occasions, and, he takes the time to talk to you. He wants to know, even how you are. There's a photo of me years ago with him at Middlesbrough away, and I just think you lose someone like that, and you have someone come in who doesn't understand how the club operate, and it'll be a big loss. It will be a huge loss. And the only place I want to see him go is Denmark, because I think he's publicly said it before that he would love to have the opportunity to, manage his country. But I just think if you go to Tottenham, of course they're a huge club, Tottenham. We won't back that down. But they're in a mess at the moment, aren't they? I mean, they won the Europa League. Yeah, okay, well done. But it's true. It's true. You look at United. I mean, again, they're a mess as well. Why would you want to go to a club, that's got stickers around everywhere saying Levy out, against the club, how they operate? Potter, he went to Chelsea. He's now at West Ham, and they're calling for his head. He's not been the same since he was at Brighton. He's got to get his decision right. And I'm telling you, Tottenham is not the right move for Thomas Frank. No way. And
if Thomas goes, we'll finally get Jurgen Klopp.
He's lost it. I'll tell you, he looked very different when he was at Liverpool the other day, didn't he? I thought, flipping heck. But yeah, no, it's someone saying about Thomas Frank there just a second ago. Yeah, absolutely not. He is the mainstay.
I like this comment from Leonard saying Justin Cochrane. I was thinking Marina Steichhausen. Marina Steichhausen, anyone? That would be a good appointment.
Steichhausen
was incredible. Steichhausen was like, Middlesbrough on a Tuesday or Wednesday night when we had 5 substitutes and 2 of them were goalkeepers. That was a shit show. Sorry, excuse me, or I shouldn't be recording. I shouldn't be swearing on live television. But
what are you going to say, Dan?
I just think
Yeah.
it's a big risk when he leaves. Whoever we take on, there's a risk it doesn't work, but there's also some hope that we might make the right decision. We might progress as a club further. You look at Bournemouth with Viraola when they hired him,
Yeah.
Brighton and their track record of managers over the years. If we can get it right with a progressive coach, someone who could progress our playing style further from where it is, then there is potential we could do even better than we are currently. It's a really good proposition to take on for any manager if the Brentford job was to come up. It's a well-run club, a stable club, very good culture already in place. Everything's kind of in place for someone to come in and make it work. And the time we give to managers as well to develop their own style and things like that is just something that must be desirable for most managers. And obviously I can see the comments about maybe promoting from within again. I think that's more difficult to do in the Premier League in the position we're currently in now. I think maybe you do need some kind of managerial top level experience to come into the Premier League and hit the ground running. And it would be a risk, but it would be a risk, I guess, whatever way we go with it.
Craig, something about Thomas Frank that I saw earlier is that there's been no quotes from him around the signing of Caoimhin Kelleher, just from Phil Giles. And I was trying to rack my brains because I saw the tweet. Does that normally happen when we sign a new player? Does Thomas Frank normally have like a little 2 lines on social media or whatever? Does that normally happen?
I don't think it's every signing, but he certainly has his say every now and then, especially with the bigger signings. And this is a big signing for someone like Kelleher coming into our club. But I don't think it's something to worry about. But it's just that summer transfer window. I feel like the back room, as in Phil Giles, they're always more in the spotlight when it comes to the transfers than the management are.
He don't like goalkeepers. He gave it to the goalkeeping coach. He had a few words in the announcement. It said,
Greg, I'll come straight back to you on the Kelleher news because I don't know what you guys must have seen the compilation of Flekken statues of like every time when he didn't move. But I feel like we have been sort of defending him quite a lot this season in particular. But I made a video in it saying kind of that first half of the season kind of set the stall for Flekken chat for the rest of it because there was just always going to be more eyes on it. But is it, Craig, would you say it's an upgrade? And are you happy with the business? I think because that's another side of this deal because he's obviously a lot younger than Flekken is.
Yeah, I mean, I've been one to defend Mark Flekken throughout the whole season. Everyone will know that. And just to point on that, he actually says, doesn't he, in his first interview that he was down here last week speaking with Thomas Frank. So that has already happened. I wish Mark Flekken all the best. I don't think that obviously everybody knows my stance on it and how I have tried to defend him. And I don't think he's as bad as what people are making him out to be. He's made a lot of important saves this season. Last season he wasn't fantastic. Well, the season just gone. Last season wasn't fantastic. We know that he came out and said all of the stuff that he did about his own mental state, that he wasn't ready. But if we've got a goalkeeper that's ready to hit the ground running, let him do it. Let him do it.
Happy with the business, Miranda?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Flecken's come on leaps and bounds this season. So it's always a shame to see him go, but I'm glad that there's a bit of action going on. Gives me hope for the summer. There's a bit of action going on already. It's only June.
I know. It is nice.
You never know. Nice. You never know now.
Yeah. Should we head on to the quiz? I think we've been rambling on for 23 minutes and we said we were going to do that for 10 before we started recording. Should we head on to the quiz then, Dan? Do you want to get your
questions? I like the questions. I do like the questions. Has anyone got any burning questions?
You're going to get 30 questions in a minute,
specifically for Callum.
Not just for me, but just to the lovely audience that are watching. You've got 10 seconds. Go.
Yeah, if you got any questions that you want us to talk about, like throughout the quiz, around the season, whilst you're playing along, just let us know and we can put it on screen and have a little discussion around it. But Dan,
do we feel that we have a kind of a special kind of like deal with Liverpool? Like I was thinking, I had Harvey Elliott could be the next one in through the door. I like Harvey Elliott. There you go. Yeah. We're talking about wingers. But,
Fulham, though.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, we got Carvalho to be there, so we'd just be adding another one.
Yeah, true.
But
Go
no,
on
we
then,
are
Dan.
slowly becoming Liverpool B.
Nothing
Very
wrong with
slowly
that.
but surely.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, we'll take it. We'll take it. They've all won a little trophy. So, right, Dan, lead
Right,
us off,
so
mate.
Can we all see this screen?
Yeah.
It's very bright. I'm only
It's
joking.
podcasting colours, Callum.
It's not bright enough.
I can't see you guys anymore, but I can see the screen. So we're going to take you on a journey of the season. There's going to be 30 questions. We're going to do 5 at a time, then do the answers for those 5 questions, roughly going through the season month by month. And I'm sure as we get going through the first few, you'll kind of get how this is going. Each question has 2 parts to it. So there'll be 60 marks in total. So shall we get straight into it?
I can tell you've done this before, by the way. I tell you, that was
Craig did it last year.
What an
Were you,
introduction.
were you
And I
a
did
Zoom
it well.
wizard,
That's
Dan?
all I'm
Did
going
you-
to say. Did it well.
Did you practice this before you came on, Dan? I'll tell you.
No, first time, and it's actually a lot harder when I can't see you guys whilst I'm doing this.
You got it.
But anyway,
Far away. I'm not gonna
we're in
forget.
August.
Far away.
Are we ready for question 1?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
So Brentford played Wolfsburg in their final pre-season friendly at the G-Tech. What was the score? Is the first part of the question.
I've got it.
Bonus point as well if you can name the scorers. Brentford scorers only.
geez.
We don't need any Wolfsburg scorers in there unless you want to do that. You won't get any points for putting the Wolfsburg scorers in there.
Oh, Christ alive.
Blimey, do you need all the scorers?
How many, Craig?
Is this like a curveball? Because, no, I don't know.
Did any of you go to this game?
No.
No.
But it was a
I'm
very
sure
good
I
one.
was. I'm sure I was actually there for that one. Not to give too much away, but I have a feeling there was a fair few goals.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was. And I'm pretty sure I've got it right, but are you doing the answers now, or are you doing them?
No, we'll do 5 questions and then the answers. But let me know when you're kind of done with this one, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess the scorers. In the meantime, we have a question from Matthew. How much faith do we all have in Thiago to perform next season?
I'm a bit unsure on Thiago. I think from what we've seen, he's clearly a big guy. He's good at holding up the ball. He's good at the physical stuff, but I'm not completely sold yet on his technical ability. But I think the jury's still out on that. I think it's only fair to give him a bit more chance going into next season. I think with that, given his lack of minutes this season. But yeah, just in terms of his technical ability, I'm not completely sold yet, but I can see how he gives a lot to the team physically.
I didn't think he looked fit when he came back. The games towards the end of the season, he didn't look up to match kind of ability. But when he's, the brief appearance we saw him towards the start, the start of the season, I thought he looked all right. And he's a player who can cause some problems. He's a tall individual. He gets up the headers. He was holding up the ball quite well, I thought, when he played earlier in the season. So give him some match time. I think we've got a player in there, and he's going to do well next season. 15 goals next season. Thank you very much. I'll put money on that. Next question.
Right, shall we move it on to question 2?
Move it on.
All right.
So, how many first team signings, and by first team signings, I mean those who have played any first team minutes this season, arrived at Brentford in the 2024 summer window? And again, another bonus point if you can name all of those signings.
How many?
Okay, right. So how many signings we made?
How many first team signings came through the door last summer for the first time? And
okay.
I don't think we had any first team signings who didn't play any minutes. So, but I've just added that in just so we don't include any B team signings or anyone like that.
Got it.
Can't be having controversy on this quiz.
No, very true. That's very true.
The next one kind of goes along with it, so I can give you question 3 as well at the same time. So question 3 is how many first team players on permanent contracts officially departed the club's first team in the summer window? So that's permanent people on permanent contracts who officially departed last summer, and then again bonus point if you can name them all. And I've given an example of a player I'm not including in this answer, which is Finn Stevens.
Are you having a laugh? No, he's a quality player.
Yes, but he was never really. I wouldn't ever really consider him as a part of the first team. I think he was predominantly throughout
B
his
team, yeah.
time at Brentford B team. So I'm not including any kind of players like that.
Are we including people who were released as well?
Yep. So any players on permanent contracts who officially departed. It doesn't matter how they
Okay.
departed.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, I've got it.
So you get a point for just saying how many. So if you're not completely sure, you might want to guess. If you know of 5, but you think there's a couple more, you might want to add a couple numbers to your score. But then you only get the full 2 points if you can name them as well as give me the number.
Fucking hell, Dan. These are quite hard, mate.
These are incredibly, and I actually think I'm pretty good at quizzes. But do you
I
know what?
remember saying the same to Craig this time last year. It's actually quite difficult to make an easy quiz. But I think as we go on, I think there are questions which you guys will get, and
I
there's a lot of
didn't
points up for
expect to
grabs.
be. I didn't expect to be answering questions about pre-season, mate. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We're only in August, Craig. As we go through the quiz, we'll end up back to present day. So the next page is September, October. So we're getting closer. Are we ready for number 4?
Yeah.
Number 4, go on.
This should be an easier question. How many points have Brentford taken on the opening day of the Premier League season in our 4 seasons combined? And then a bonus point if you can name all of our opening day results from our 4 Premier League seasons. I think you guys are more likely to get this one.
I'm not. No, I'm in trouble here. I can name 2, obviously. If I didn't get the first one right, then I'm in big trouble.
Oh, fucking hell. My memory is shit.
Maybe it's just because I've got
Oh,
the
right. Yeah. I've got
idea.
I've got another one here. Yeah. What about if you know the scores as well? I'll tell you.
Yep. So the second point is if you can name the scores. So
Oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention. Shit. Let's have geez, I've got 3 out of the 4. What the heck is the last one?
So Callum, if you've got 3 out of 4, you're fairly confident. You could just add a point or 3 points or none at all and hope that
we'll
got
go.
the results of the last one.
Sorry, are you waiting for me?
I'll put up question 5. So if anyone's done with 4, we can go on to question 5. So Brentford started the season well at home, as we all know. How many home games did we play in the Premier League this season until we dropped points?
Jesus Christ.
So how many consecutive wins essentially did we start with at home in the Premier League this season? And then again, bonus point if you can name who the teams we beat were.
Oh my god! Enough! Goodness gracious! Oh.
You could have at least put the one team that we dropped points against.
I was thinking that was what you were going to say, and that's an easy one. That.
So think back to the start of the season. Obviously, at the start of the season, we were all saying that our home games on paper looked a lot easier than our away games. Think of who we played in those first, however many games. Obviously, we won most of those games, but which one was the first one we dropped points in? And then who did we play before that? And then once we're ready, we'll do the answers.
Can those be in any order? I couldn't get the words out then. Could those be in any order? Just like 5 teams?
Yeah, if you name the teams, if your answer's 6 and you want to name the 6 teams, it can be in any order. And then when you guys say you're ready, we'll go through the answers for these first 5.
What I think we should do, Dan, I'm sure you might have been thinking about this already, is as we're going through the answers, see if we can get some comments in and
Yeah.
get some answers in as you're reading them.
Yeah, I can't see the comments because I'm on this screen, but if you guys read them out and then you guys can read out what you've put as well before I reveal the answer. So are we ready or does anyone need more time?
No, go on.
I think we're ready.
We're ready. So question 1, what did we get? So Brentford, Wolfsburg. Craig, you seem quite confident about the fact that you were there at least. What was the
So
score?
I think the score was 4-4. I think it was 4-4.
Yes, you're correct.
Damn it.
Get in.
Cool.
And I've put, I know that Wissa scored, and I think Wissa scored 2 and Bryan scored 2, but I think that's wrong.
So anyone got any other answers in terms of who scored the goals?
Got Freddie in the
Mbeumo
chat
too,
saying Tony,
Morgan,
Wissa, Jensen, and Sharda.
No, I don't think Tony played. Or if he did, he didn't score. But that's very close from whoever put that in the comments.
Blimey.
Okay. That's not me then.
No.
Ready with the answer then. So the answer is 4-4 Mbeumo, Wissa, Jensen, Sharda.
Very good.
So I think the person in the comments just got Tony and Mbeumo.
So just to clarify, do you get 1 point for all 4 right answers?
No, you get 1 point for saying 4-4
Yeah.
and 1 point for getting the bit in brackets.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Please.
So
If
let-
you-
let-
if
at
you've
the
got to do
end-
all 4.
At the end, we'll end up with a nice round score out of 60. It just makes it
Okay,
easy.
yeah, fair. You got to be perfect for the 2 points.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
mean, the way these are designed is to hopefully, at least the first part of the question, you might get a point there.
You hope. We hope.
There's plenty more. Right? Number 2, how many first team signings arrived at Brentford in the summer window? How many did we say?
3.
I put 6.
4.
I put 3.
I put 4. Gustavo Nunes, Thiago, Fabio Carvalho, and Sepp van den Berg.
Oh, I forgot about Nunes. Is it not 4? Thiago was January, no? Last year.
Okay, so there's one player no one said yet.
Jaden Mbeumo.
Yes.
Carvalho.
So the
Carvalho.
answer is 5.
Oh,
Igor
Oh,
Thiago.
Whoa. Objection. Igor Thiago agreed to sign for Brentford in January 2023, no?
That's why the question says he arrived at Brentford in the summer 2024 window.
Ooh.
I've taken into account this, Mike. I've
Mike.
worded these
Yeah,
questions very
really, mate.
carefully.
Is Dan a lawyer? Does anyone know?
Did Jaden Mbeumo play at all for the first team before he got sent out on
He
loan?
did play in some cup games. He did feature.
Fair enough.
So you're getting a point. You're only getting a point if you got all of them right.
A point for saying 5, and then a point if you can name them all.
Oh shit.
Did anybody in the comments get 5?
This is going to be a very low scoring quiz, I must admit. But well, from my end it is. But
How many players on permanent contracts officially departed the club's first team in the summer window? Then how many did you get for number 3?
5.
I put 5.
I only put 3.
I put 3, yeah. But I don't know who.
On my
More.
3 that I've got are Tony Zanka and Raya, because Raya technically went on
Rare
loan.
counts, and that's the one I
went
thought
on
people
permanent.
wouldn't clock onto.
Hang on a minute. Wait, hang on. What left permanently? Ray didn't leave permanently, did he?
No,
Yeah,
he
he
was
did.
on loan. He left permanently last summer because he was on
Oh,
loan this year
oh,
before.
right. Yeah. Okay.
But the answer is higher than any of you have said. Has anyone in the comments said anything different? No. Okay. The answer is 7.
7.
You've got Ivan Toney, David Raya,
my
Thomas Sakosha, Charlie
my
Good,
God.
Zanka, Saman Godos, and Shannon Baptiste.
Can I query that? Sorry, can I query?
Yes,
not
Callum.
to say that you're wrong, but when did Canos when did Canos go out of interest?
Canos, that was
Canos.
Oh,
a
ages
good
ago.
couple of years ago at least.
Yeah, that was what year we took? Yeah, last year. Yeah, last year, wasn't it?
I don't know exactly when he went, but it wasn't last summer.
I'm pretty sure he permanently last summer.
Didn't he go on loan and then got sold last summer? Or is he
I'm
still
pretty
technically
sure
our
that's
player?
August,
just on loan?
August 2023 for Sergi Canos permanently.
Oh, damn it. Right. Next question.
Sorry, Callum. So I think this one is probably the easiest one on this page. So how many points have Brentford taken on the opening day of the Premier League season in our 4 seasons combined?
10.
8.
I hope.
8 is correct.
Oh, I'm so bad at
So,
this.
Obviously, in
Same.
our first Premier League season, we got the 2-0 win against Arsenal. The second season was the 2-2 away at Leicester.
Spurs.
Third
Oh,
season was 2-2 at home to Spurs. And obviously this season was 2-1 against Crystal Palace. So again,
Now,
if you said 8,
I got those right, but I got the score for the Spurs game wrong.
lucky Craig, very strict quiz system here. So
I got 1-1, not 2. What the hell is that about?
oh Christ! I'm on
What
one
do you put,
solitary.
Mike?
I'm on one solitary point. I put 7, but I forgot that we
Oh,
played Spurs.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I just feel like they're easier because I took time preparing this quiz. So I thought, yeah, I remember that.
To be fair, we got a couple of people in the comments that got it. They got it bang on.
Yeah, I thought that one was
Yeah.
probably the easiest one on this first page. So final question is Brentford started the season well on home soil, but how many games did we play in the Premier League until we dropped points? So obviously we won on the opening day against Palace, as we found out in the previous question. How many other games did we win before we dropped points for the first time at home?
6.
I think we
8.
won 5 in total and then
Oh,
dropped points
God.
against West Ham.
I've got this terribly wrong. I put 3.
Mike, you're the closest.
Oh,
So,
I
But
got
it was
Palace,
only
Wolves, and
2.
Southampton. Who's the last one?
Oh, well, no,
It was only
no,
2.
no.
We played West Ham in our
man.
third home game of the season.
Oh,
So the answer is just Crystal Palace and
Didn't read the
Southampton.
question right, did I? That's no point.
So what are we on so far? Or do I want to ask that question?
I'm on
More.
1 solitary point at the moment.
Same. I'm on 1 as well.
1.
I'm on 2 here, and I feel a bit hard done by because I got the Spurs score wrong by 1 goal each.
All right. Well, we're into September and October now, so hopefully,
Right, moving on.
hopefully
Right,
you guys remember these months slightly easier.
Literally barely remember last week. I can't remember September, October.
1. So Brentford, we were well known for doing this. We scored in the opening minute of each of our 3 Premier League fixtures in September. But who did these games come against? And then bonus point for naming who scored each of those 3 goals in the opening minute.
Shit. In September. I'm just tracking back to see who we.
Just think quick goals this season. There was that spell where we just kept scoring inside a minute.
I've got this. I'm confident on this one.
I think I've got this one in the bag as well. It might be the first 2 point I go for.
Yeah.
They're getting easier. See,
Yeah. Nice.
as
I'm
time
not
moves
sure.
forward, you remember things. Anyone need more time, or shall we move on?
No, 2 6. I'll tell you what, just do it because I got one of them. I've got one of them, but that's.
You can always come back to it. So another highlight of the GTEC, especially early in the season, was that there was so many goals scored there. How many goals did we see score combined in our home games against Wolves and Ipswich in October? So this is goals that we scored and goals that the opposition scored, all added together in those 2 games.
Okay, I've got this. That's 1 point on the board.
I'm full marks here, I reckon.
And another point again for obviously naming the individual results against Wolves and Ipswich.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm glad to know that this is getting easier. Ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This might be a little bit harder, but we'll see how you get on. So we secured our place in the Carabao Cup quarter-final in October, but who did we beat in the second, third and fourth round to get there? And again, another bonus point if you can name what the results were in those 3 games.
I can only remember one.
Yes. Got it. Gotcha.
So what the one to get into the quarterfinals in October. So the second and third round would have been before that. So in the opening weeks of the season.
Wonderful. I think I've got that. I think.
6 out of 6 for everyone then, yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about one of them. I'm not sure about one of them. But yeah.
Can't
I think
remember
I'm
any
6.
of the
I think I'm
Carabao
6
Cup
for
games.
6. I reckon I'm 6 for 6 here.
Let's see if we can carry on. Who did Fabio Carvalho make his first Brentford start against in the Premier League?
There we go.
Bonus points for correctly guessing how many Premier League starts he made in total and who these were against.
In what, for the whole season?
Yep, only Premier League, so not cup games. How many games did he start this season in the league?
Hmm.
And when was his first start? So
This
it's
is
a bit of
gonna
a
be-
clue, the fact that this is in the September-October section,
Yeah.
which
This is gonna
means
be
his
low.
first start would have been in one of those games.
Oh, actually, no, I've got this wrong. No, I've got this wrong. I've definitely got that. No, that's it. That's incorrect.
Could be 8 for 8.
I'm going to go. Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's
Got Owen who's shouting out all the answers in the chat.
Save it for the answers section.
Come on, Owen.
Number 5. Bryan and Mbeumo and Yaron Wissa both bagged a brace against Ipswich in October. Might help you with one of the earlier questions if you haven't nailed that down yet. But how many Premier League games have they both scored in this season? So these are games where Mbeumo and Wissa both scored.
Oh,
Now, this might be a bit of a guess. It's obviously quite easy to miss one or two from that list. And then if you name who the opposition were on each occasion, they both
on each
scored.
occasion.
I'm not even bothering. I'm not even bothering with that.
I may give you the second point if you've named most of the opposition, but missed maybe like one or two teams.
I fully respect if anyone gets all of them right, by the way, without cheating.
Ready to move on to the answers?
Yeah.
So then, what did we get for question 1? What's Owen saying in the chat for question 1?
We have to get Owen on. Can we buzz him in?
I don't think he's gone Southampton ×2, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Man United, and a few others.
That's question 5, no?
Oh,
I'm not sure. I've gone for question 1, West Ham, Spurs, and Man City, and Mbeumo Wissa.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I've got the same ones. I don't know if I got Man
I've got the
City
same.
Wissa, Tottenham
Yeah.
Wissa.
Wait,
So it's City, Spurs, West Ham. Wissa scored versus City, and then
On the
Bryan
board.
scored versus Spurs and West Ham.
Bosh, 2
Brilliant.
points.
2 out of 2 is all around.
I got 1, but at least it wasn't 0.
What bit didn't you get? The goal scorer.
I got I put Wissa twice rather than Mbeumo twice.
Yeah, it was always bound to be one of it. If you're not sure, just say it's either Wissa or Mbeumo. So the amount of goals combined in our games against Wolves and Ipswich, what did we get?
15.
15.
Yeah, 15. And the individual scores were 5-3 against Wolves, 4-3 against Ipswich.
Woo! We're on the board.
4 for 4.
Yeah.
Who did we play in the second, third, and fourth round of the Carabao Cup?
Colchester away, Orient at home, Sheffield Wednesday at home.
Yeah, have you got the scores, Callum?
1-0 Colchester. This is the one I wasn't unsure about. 3-1 against Orient, 1-1 Sheffield Wednesday.
Nailed it.
So I thought it was Newport. When was Newport?
Boom.
Newport was year before, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
How many points do I get for that? Just FYI.
2. Each question's 2. So if you get the bit in brackets, that's a point, and then if you get the bit before the brackets, that's another point.
4 points on the board.
So, who did Fabio Carvalho make his first Brentford start against in the Premier League?
Tottenham away.
Yeah, I put Tottenham as well.
I went Wolves at home.
Is Spurs.
Bollocks.
Yeah.
And then the 3 games he
Can
started.
I interrupt? I'm pretty sure he started against Leicester, by the way.
Not according to my research.
Ooh, ooh. I'm pretty sure he started against. Hang on, I'm going to get me phone.
I guess 3, so I get a point there, all right?
Yeah, unless Callum tells us it's 4, and then in which
Hang
case
on.
he's
No, I'm not changing now. Don't start
Hang on a
Googling.
second. No,
He only
I'm
started
pretty
3
sure
games.
He
Well,
started
he came,
that
at Leicester
game.
away, he came on very late and scored, so he didn't start that one.
Home
Yeah.
game, because we
And
played
then-
very attacking. He went off injured.
Unless I completely missed it when putting together this quiz.
Then I'm starting. Well, let's have a look, shall we?
You're making me nervous, Callum.
I'm researching. He did not start.
He didn't
He
start.
No, he didn't start. He came on as a sub.
Really?
Thanks, Mike.
I swear he started.
I thought he started against. Did he not start against Wolves?
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've researched, I double checked.
No,
Unless
he
I
didn't.
completely missed something,
No,
this
that's
is the
fine.
correct answer.
Let's
Obviously,
not go changing
I'm just
answers
chatting
now.
absolute. I'm just chatting rubbish.
and
So,
Craig knew the answer, so
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm
Yeah.
chatting rubbish.
It's-
Continue.
Okay.
Sorry, Dan.
so I'm wrong on that one. Then.
so his first start was against Spurs, and his 3 starts altogether. Obviously, he did start some cup games, which why it might seem that he started on a couple more occasions. How many games then did both Bryan and Mbeumo and Johan Wissa score this season?
14.
16.
12.
16. Who says 16?
Not me.
You think they
No, you
scored in
think.
16 games in the same game?
Yeah, I reckon. No.
It's 8.
Uh,
And the answer is
Oh,
Crystal Palace, Southampton twice, Ipswich, Newcastle, Leicester, Brighton, and Fulham.
I got it wrong. I put 5, but I put Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton home and away. I could not remember the other ones.
Yeah, so Palace was opening day, Southampton both games, Ipswich would have been in the 4-3. Newcastle would have been in the home win. And then Leicester away, Brighton
away.
quite recently. Yeah. And the Fulham game we lost in literally about 2-3 weeks ago. Are we happy with that
Thanks for
then?
the reminder.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the reminder,
Yeah.
Dan.
Craig forgot about that one. Didn't want to put that in there. All right, we'll move on to what are we on now anyway in terms of scores?
Well, 5.
5.
5, yeah.
I think I'm on 7.
Oh, we have a leader. Anyone more than that in the chat?
Is that combined or is that just in September? October?
Leonard just said don't mention
Combined.
Fulham game. I actually think you should be fired as quizmaster for that, Dan.
You're
never getting this big
You
again.
mentioned
I'm 7 in total.
Josh is on 9. I think Josh said that he won last year, apparently. I don't have VR to check that. Actually, I do, to be fair. I could go back and see who won last year. But I'll take your word for it, Josh, that you won last year. So we're trying to take his crown.
And he's winning again.
And he's winning again. Sounds like.
All right, let's go on to November, December. So November saw Brentford pick up our first point on the road at Everton. But how many away Premier League defeats did we suffer prior to that Everton game? So we started with a consecutive run of away defeats. How many did we have? And then a bonus point if you can name the teams that beat us. That's not too bad. Not too bad of a question. I think we looked at our fixture list quite a lot towards the beginning of the season and thought this looks difficult.
I'm missing. What am I missing?
Stop talking, Mike, while you're right.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep saying a bit louder.
I can move on. I'll come back to that one.
Number 2, Christian Norgard made his 100th Premier League appearance for Brentford in our December victory against Newcastle. But who else has made 100 Premier League appearances for the club? So that's the first part of the question. So apart from Norgard, who else has made 100 Premier League appearances for Brentford? Second part of the question, there are 2 other players in our squad who have played 100 Premier League games, at least 100 Premier League games, but not all of them for Brentford. Who are those 2 players?
Oh.
So just think who's not injured too much, who's been a mainstay for the majority of our 4 seasons. And then for the second part, who has had a Premier League career before Brentford?
Don't be giving too much away, Dan. Fucking hell.
He's telling me it's too hard a minute ago.
No. Keep it this way.
I'm just explaining the question, really. I'm not giving anything away.
Sorry, are they current players?
Yeah, all current players, nobody who's left.
Hmm.
Is anyone done, or do you want more thinking time for this one?
Done.
Number 3, how many changes? So we moaned about this a lot at the time, but how many changes did Brentford actually make for the Carabao Cup quarter-final versus Newcastle compared to the Premier League game against Chelsea 3 days before? And then you get a bonus point for naming the players who started against Newcastle but didn't start against Chelsea.
If someone knows that team off by heart, goodness me.
Who came in for the game?
Yeah, so we obviously put a
Yeah.
relatively full-strength side out against Chelsea. A few days later, we played Newcastle. How many changes were there, and who came in for those people who came out the side? Now, question 4 might take you guys a little bit of time. It might be the most, or one of the most questions that you have to think about. So I'll put it up so people that have done the first 3 can go on to it. So the victory against Newcastle, Newcastle's very much the theme of November, December, it seems, meant Brentford have beaten every side we have faced in the Premier League at least once. So this is throughout our time in the Premier League, all 4 seasons. How many teams have we beaten in total?
That's
I'm naming them all.
Well, a lot of them. I mean, didn't Craig? You had us writing down every nationality or something, or
Well, I
something
just said
like that
how
last
many
year.
nationalities are there?
Craig,
No,
to
you
be
don't
fair,
have to
you
name
can't say
all of
much.
them.
There was a question about seconds in yours. We had to do it down to the exact second. I remember there was a question around that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, in regards to naming them, you are just thinking the only ones you really have to think about are the ones, not the obvious ones. So obviously, there's already 19 other teams in the Premier League.
So can we claim the other current 19 teams from last season as written down?
If you can name them all. If you can name them all live on the podcast.
I'll give it a right good go, I'll tell you.
But yeah, if it makes things quicker, we could just name the teams who aren't currently in the Premier League, who we've beaten in the Premier League. But you still got to get the first part right. And we've got to hope I've counted it correctly.
I'm sure you have, Dan. So we can name the teams that we haven't that we've beat that aren't currently in the Premier League.
Yeah, to make it easier, obviously I'll give you the 19 that are obviously in the Premier League now alongside us. just name the others then, who aren't currently
Okay.
in the Premier League.
Oh Christ, gonna have to come back to that one.
Oh, I'm not even going to attempt. I don't even got Scooby, but
Well, Callum, we've beaten Arsenal, Manchester City.
that's a good start. Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah. Go on. Next question.
The last question for this set of months is Mikael Damsgaard scored his first Premier League goal against Bournemouth in November and has contributed 10 assists in the league campaign. But who has contributed the most assists in our time in the Premier League throughout the 4 seasons? And then if you can get the number, which might be a bit of a guess, you can get a bonus point.
Definitely guess that number.
Maybe I'll allow you to have the point if you get it like one either side. Depends.
Thanks,
how
Dan.
That's all right. Does anyone need more time? I know a couple of these questions, especially on this page, require a bit more time.
All good.
I reckon we're good.
All good. So question 1, how many away Premier League defeats did we have before we got the point at Everton this season?
7.
4.
I've gone for 5.
That's
Six.
correct. 5 is correct.
And I think it's Liverpool, City, Spurs, United, and Fulham.
Bang on.
Oh,
Missed one.
bloody hell.
Who did you put for
Get
7?
in there.
Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa. I've erased Fulham from my mind, so it didn't happen.
Newcastle was
I'm a
towards
real
the
fan.
end, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Bollocks. Oh yeah, Newcastle was. Oh, what am I talking about? Jesus Christ.
Chelsea, I think, was just after the Everton game, so that not too bad of a guess. I think Chelsea was in December, wasn't it? Obviously, this game against Everton was in November.
Yeah. Thanks for spelling that one out for me, Dan.
It's all right. Just giving a bit of facts. We all learn something along the way. So, how many other players and who are the players who have made 100 Premier League appearances for Brentford?
Janel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've got you now. Anyone else?
Raya and me.
Ben Mee is one of the answers to the second
And
part.
Nathan
I put
Collins is the other
Collins.
answer to the second part.
So Collins and Ben Mee are the answer to the second part of the question.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yanel's in there. David Ray is not in there. Whoever said
Ethan
that.
Pinnock.
Ethan Pinnock's in
Yeah.
there. I think someone
Norgard.
said Jensen. Jensen's in there.
Yeah. Jansen is there.
Norgard's the question, so of course he's in there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Or is it 3? Is the answer 3? Being Janel, Jensen, and Pinnock? Or is there
No,
more?
there's 2 more current players who have played 100 times for Brentford in the Premier League.
Bloody hell. For Brentford.
I have David Raya as having 100 Premier League appearances.
For
Not for
Brentford.
It's got to be Mbeumo then, surely. Has Mbeumo played 100 Premier League?
Yeah, and Mbeumo's in there. One more.
Was Tony the other one then?
No,
Karen.
Johan Wisser.
Oh.
Oh, of course.
So
I only got 1
Raya
point then.
probably got to 100 after he left Brentford.
Mike is fact checking. Look at that face, man.
No, I've misread the question. I don't know. I thought because did Janelt hit 100 this season? I thought it was just this season.
No, it's just the question is who has made 100 Premier League appearances for Brentford?
Janelt must have hit 100 last season anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ, this has been a shit.
I got Collins and Ben Mee, but I thought you was giving a bit of a trick question there, considering Ben Mee is no longer actually our player.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
no.
true.
Technically he is, thank you. Technically he is, and for
Yeah,
another
technically, I
20
think
odd days.
he does have a couple of weeks. Yeah. How many changes then did we make between the Chelsea and the Newcastle game?
3.
7.
No, that's
Some-
Plymouth.
Somewhere in the middle. So it's not 3 and it's not 7.
That's 5 then.
It's 5, yeah.
Sepp, Christopher, IFF.
So Kevin Schade didn't start against Chelsea, but did against Newcastle. So he was probably the most difficult one to get in terms
Did
of...
Yarmulke not start against Newcastle?
I think he started against Chelsea, though, 3 days prior. Vandenberg wasn't fully in the team then either. It was Pinnock that was usually playing alongside Collins. So obviously Vandenberg was another one that came in for this game. I think our main gripe at the time was that just the likes of Bryan didn't start and Damsgaard didn't start. I think the players who did take out the side were the big ones. How many teams have we beaten then throughout our time in the Premier League?
32.
27.
25.
25 is correct.
I crossed that
And
out. I put
I
27.
think I've got the 6 outside of the current Premier League.
They're all here, so go on, Craig.
I think I've got Luton, Burnley, Leeds, Sheffield United, Norwich, and Watford.
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
All the 25 are listed at the bottom of the screen.
I'm
If
claiming
anyone
2
has
points for that.
Written them all out.
Bloody hell.
Not bad.
How
And
does your
then-
brain work like this, man?
I
Oh,
think you just start with the 19, then you think of Championship clubs, don't you? Who have been.
That's
in the Premier
exactly
League.
what I did.
Yeah.
Because obviously you knew that Leeds, Burnley, and Sheffield United were all in the playoffs, weren't they? So I thought, oh, there's 3 straight away.
Yeah. Then you just got Luton, who are a bit of a rogue one, given where they are now. And
Yeah.
obviously the two that came up with us, Watford and Norwich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mikael Damsgaard then. Oh, well, the question's not really about him. I just wanted to include him in the question. Who has contributed the most assists in our time in the Premier League?
It's got to be Bryan, no?
Yep. How many?
Mbeumo, 20.
24.
I'll go
I put
28.
26.
Did somebody say 28?
Yes.
You're correct.
Hey!
God.
So for
Come
that,
on.
you only get a mark if you put 28 because Callum knew it. Bang on.
Oh, man, I put Bryan 26.
That is great. That has made my evening. Thank you very much. 2 points.
All right. Let's have another score update. What are we all on?
7.
6.
Yeah, 6.
What are you laughing about?
Oh, just how I don't know.
Including that round.
We're only in
now
December.
13.
There's still plenty of time,
13.
Miranda. There's still loads of
13
time.
now, yeah.
Do we have a new leader? What's Josh is on 15?
Bloody
Ooh.
hell.
Bloody hell.
Do we have a title race on our hands?
So I think that's the halfway point, right? So that's 15 out of 30. So
Yeah.
That's not bad. I'll take the 7.
half the points. Not bad.
Freddie on
He's on
13.
he's on 1
Dylan's on
point
5.
aside, isn't he? Not bad.
Owen's on 5. Freddie's on 13. There's good scores in there. Some decent scores. None of us are last. By the wait, what have you got, Callum? 7.
7.
And you and I, Miranda, got 6 each.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not last. That's the main thing.
It's not like we do a podcast for this, is
Yeah,
it?
no, nothing at all like that.
Let's go into January onwards. So Brentford won their first away game in the Premier League this season, winning 5-0 at Southampton. How many away games did we go on to win this season in the league only?
Are we naming all, including Southampton here? Sorry.
Yes, Southampton's one of the answers. So you want to name the rest of them for the second point. Obviously, it's slightly easier because we know when we won our first game. So you're just thinking of all the more recent away days and wherever we won. Okay, and number 2, Johan Wissa became Brentford's all-time top Premier League goal scorer in the 2-2 draw against Man City. But how many Premier League goals has he scored for the club? And then Bryan and Mbeumo is in second place. Bonus point for guessing how many goals he scored.
Premier League goals.
Premier League goals, yeah. This was an example of me having to go back into the quiz after the Wolves game and correcting one of the answers. I hope I've got the correct version of the PowerPoint up.
I'm just guessing here, mate. Fucking hell.
I think when I was doing this, I knew kind of the ballpark figure, but I wasn't sure one or two either side. So I think it was documented quite a bit when he overtook, obviously, Ivan Toney to become the top scorer. Question 3. As our away form picked up, we went on a winless one at the G-Tech around a similar time. But how many league games did we go without a home victory?
Oh, bloody hell.
And who were they against? So this is our longest winless run at home this season.
As in failed to beat, right? Okay, so drop points. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously it was around the time when we started to win away.
I think I've got that one. Yeah, I think I've got that one.
Ready to move on?
Hard running, I know that. It was a very hard running. Go on.
I'm not even going to guess the teams that we failed to beat, to be honest with you. That was a dark, dark time.
You've got to remember the good and the bad, Craig.
No. No, I don't.
You don't get the good times without the bad times. Question 4. The win against Southampton. This is lighter hearted. Was our biggest Premier League win. However, what is our second biggest Premier League win? There are 3 answers to this question. If you get 2 of them, you get a point. You only get both points if you get all 3. So obviously this is not just this season. This is our biggest Premier League win based on the last 4 years. So what is our joint second biggest Premier League win over the last 4 seasons?
You want the scores and the teams they were against in the other games?
I have put the scores in the answers. But if you just give me the teams, give me the teams or the scores, as long as I know which game you're talking about.
No, I've got no idea. Really.
I think I've got this one nailed on, I'll tell you.
And then last one. So read this one carefully. So the victory against West Ham in February was the highest attended Premier League game in which Brentford won. So that was the game in the Premier League where the most people were there in the stadium when we won. What is the game with the second highest attendance for a Premier League victory? And this excludes other games at the London Stadium.
This season?
All time. Well, not all time. In the Premier League.
In the Premier League.
Yeah. So think of big stadiums we've won that. That's not West Ham. And then you get another bonus point or the second point for naming the game with the third highest attendance for a Premier League victory. So big stadiums that we win at, basically. They're mostly full.
Okay. I think I might got that one.
Oh, it's a more difficult one.
Hang on. Oh, this is a trick one. This is a tricky one.
Let me know when you're ready for the answers and we'll go through these ones.
I'm ready, lad.
Go on.
Okay, how many away games did we win in total in the Premier League this season?
8.
8.
7.
Oh.
7.
Oh,
Did you name all 7? Whoever said that?
West Ham, Southampton, Palace, Bournemouth, Forest, Leicester, Ipswich.
Yep, West Ham,
good.
Palace,
Look at that.
Southampton,
Look
Leicester,
at that.
Bournemouth, Forest, Ipswich.
Love a bit of that, mate. Tidy.
Valuable 2 points for you there.
Yeah. This is the start of my title charge.
Damn
How
it, we
many-
drew against Wolves, didn't we? I bloody put Wolves down. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad.
It was only the other week.
I know.
Wissa, how many Premier League goals has he scored for Brentford?
55.
32.
42.
49.
It's 45.
Oh.
Oh,
Brian's got 42.
Yeah.
Closest answer gets it. Huh?
I
Uh,
didn't
if
get
if
any of those.
anyone said one either side, I'll give it to you. So if
hey.
you've got 44, 45, 46, or 41, 42, 43 for Brian,
Boo.
you get the point.
I appreciate the sympathy points.
Thank
That's
you.
fine. I didn't know who got one either side, but as none of you got it, I'm got to give it to somebody.
Are you saying that prior to this season, Wizard only scored 15 goals in 3 seasons? No, 25 goals. My maths is awful. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Never
Well-
mind.
26 goals, right? Yeah.
He only scored
Uh,
19, didn't he? Damn it. All over the place.
How many league games did we go without a home victory during our winless
Six.
run at GTEC?
7.
6.
5.
8.
No.
Jeez, was it that
Everton.
bad?
Everton.
Forest, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Spurs, Everton, Villa, Chelsea, and I
Oh.
think I put that in order.
My
God,
title charge is
That was just
Yeah,
that was a
cover.
mess. Oh.
blocked so much out of my memory.
I've not
For
done
that
well this
reason.
round so far.
Well, hopefully this is something you haven't blocked out your memory. So what is our second biggest Premier League win? And there's 3 answers.
Luton 5-1.
Yeah.
Man
Leicester
United 4-0.
Leicester
Yeah, but Man
4-0.
United.
Man United 4-0.
That's it. Those are the 3. So if you got all 3, you get 2 points. If you just got 2 of them, you get 1 point.
my title charge is quickly falling apart.
And then victory against West Ham was our highest attended Premier League game in which we won. What was the second highest attendance? Obviously, you don't have to tell me how many people were there. I just want to know what the game was and who it
Tottenham.
was against. Yeah,
Oh,
Spurs
yeah.
is the second.
And City.
City's
Yes,
the third.
City's third. Yeah.
Do I get a point if I included Man City in the wrong place?
Oh. What do we think? I don't know.
No, that's cheating.
No, yeah, because technically you said that City was the second highest attendance.
Yeah.
And that's
Forgot about Spurs.
not correct.
Tottenham shit club.
When we win at Old Trafford next season, that'll be our highest attended Premier League game, which we win.
Bryan will be getting some pelters, no doubt.
Yeah. What are we on now then?
11.
7.
8.
17.
Oh, Craig, that's good.
Bloody hell.
Jesus.
Anyone higher than
Got-
17?
Didn't
Josh
get any
is on
points
17
from the
in the chat.
first 3. I didn't get any points from the first 3, but then I got 4, 2 and 2 for the last 2, so that saved me then.
Got Josh on 18 in the chat.
Oh, bloody hell, of course.
Craig versus Josh.
Yeah, it looks like it.
10 questions to go, so 2 more sides. We've got March and April next. So we earned, this took ages to research this question, by the way, to work out what the actual answer was. We earned our 50th Premier League win after beating Bournemouth in March. It was well documented that only 10 clubs achieved this milestone quicker than us. Who were they? Who were the 10 clubs that reached 50 Premier League wins in fewest games?
Well, I don't fucking know, Dan. What do you mean?
So you're looking at teams who either when the Premier League was first formed in the 90s were very good and would have reached 50 wins quickly, or you're looking for other teams who got promoted and reach 50 games in as few games as possible. So only 10 clubs reach 50 Premier League wins in fewer matches than Brentford.
Do you need all 10 to get a point here? Or are you going to give us, like, if you get at least 7 or something like that?
If everyone does badly in this question, then maybe if you get 7 or 8, I'll give it to you. The second part of this question might actually be easier because you get a bonus point for correctly guessing the two Brentford players who have featured in 47 of the 50 wins.
I can't. Oh, God.
So maybe start with a second point because it might be easier.
Yeah, I'm just going to guess a second. I'm not even going to give the first one a go.
Come on, Mike, don't give up.
No, that's just a ridiculous question.
Oh. I think if you think
You're
logically,
very good on
about
pointless, I must admit. I think
who
you'd be
was
very-
a very good team in the 90s, then
Yeah,
I
there's
think
10 of
you're
them.
on your way to getting some.
9 of them.
Yeah, so I mean, you won't be too far wrong if you think of 10 clubs who were pretty good back then. So it's probably worth a guess. Question 2 is that Brentford won 5 top flight away games in a row for the first time in our history. Who is the manager the last time we won 5 away games in a row in any division? And then you get a bonus point for correctly guessing the only team who we played in both of these runs. So it's one of the teams we beat in one of the 5 games this time round, and that same team we beat the last time we won 5 away games in a row as well.
Just putting that comment on the screen for you there, Dan.
I've got a good
I
idea.
can't see it. I'm on this
Oh,
PowerPoint.
yes.
What's it say?
It says, if you think logically in quotation marks, which I think is what you just said, but it's got that little thing where it's like capital, lowercase, capital, lowercase, capital, lowercase. If you know that little funny
Just
trend.
trying to help. Just trying to help. I'll give you one. Man United.
Okay. Next question, I reckon.
April saw one of 3 goalless draws involving Brentford this season as Chelsea were held at the G-Tech. Who were the other 2 goalless draws in the Premier League against this season? Quite simple. A point for each one. I'll get the next one up. Won't leave that one up for too long. Vitaly Anelt scored an own goal in our victory at Bournemouth. We scored 2 other own goals this season. Who scored them? And if you can name who they were scored against, then you get an extra point. And then the last one, then I'll give you a bit of time to catch up. Ollie Watkins scored home and away against Brentford this season in the Premier League. 3 other opposition players also scored home and away against us this season. Can you name them? Again, a point if you get 2 of them. And then if you get all 3, you can get 2 points. So that's not including Ollie Watkins. So it's Ollie Watkins plus 3 others. So we need to know what the 3 others are.
No clue.
No.
No clue.
Ready for the
reckon-
answers?
Yeah, rattle through these.
So, does anyone want to have a go at naming the 10 clubs to achieve 50 wins quicker than us?
I'll have a go.
Go on then.
So United,
Yeah.
I've got United, Liverpool, Arsenal,
Yeah.
Blackburn Rovers,
Yeah.
Everton.
No.
No, I've got Villa, Newcastle.
Newcastle's there.
I've got West Ham and Forest.
Those are the teams. So it's United, Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Blackburn, Arsenal, Spurs, Leeds, Forest.
Oh, I did get the bonus question right though. Thank you very much. That's good.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
Vitaly,
I'm
you know,
pleased with that.
Bryan and Mbeumo are the two that featured in 47. Shall we say if you get 8 of the 10 clubs, you can get a point?
What about the bonus?
Wait,
What
wait.
about the bonus one?
Yeah, you get a point for the
Wait, hang
bonus
on.
as well.
Oh, that's all right. Okay, I was going to say. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I had to think about that one.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Mm.
I'm
5,
pretty
6,
confident
7,
about the next one, but I'm pretty confident.
I got 8 of those 10 plus. I got 8 of those 10. So does that mean I get a point for that?
You get a point, and then if you got Yanel and Mbeumo, you get another point.
I got Yanel and Bryan. So yes, I've got that one.
There we go. Craig flying into the lead. When who was the manager the last time Brentford won 5 away games in a row in any division?
Martin Allen.
Mark Warburton.
Yeah, I put Mark Warburton as well.
No, it's in between those two reigns.
Dean Smith.
Uwe Rosler.
No, it's Andy Scott.
Andy Scott.
Bloody
And
hell.
Southampton were the team that we played in both of those runs.
We
Got
what?
the bonus
We
point.
won in December.
Get in.
Time. Oh,
This was our
Oh,
first season back in League One, I believe, after
I
we
was
won.
mascot that day. That's why we won. There you go. Job done.
He was a mascot away at Southampton.
Yeah, quality day out there. It was great fun. Great fun.
Didn't
Kelvin
know.
Davis in goal for Southampton. Oh, it was. I think it was 2-1. I think Lallana and Oxlade Chamberlain were in that team. Ridiculous team. Ridiculous.
Didn't know it was our 5th away win in a row there, did you?
I didn't. To be honest with you, no, I didn't. It was a pretty. It went sour after that, though, mind you, didn't it? But never
Yeah,
mind.
I think he got sacked later that season, didn't he?
He did. Unfortunately.
Who were the other 2 goalless draws against? So we've got Chelsea and 2 more.
Everton.
And Brighton.
Yep.
Oh, Brighton.
Oh, that was it. I forgot about that.
God.
Whistle had a goal disallowed against Brighton.
Never
You get a point for each, is it?
Red card game. Yeah, a point for each.
That's when what's his name? João Pedro threw an elbow at Yarmo, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Everton was when Norgard got sent off. And that was our first away point as well. Who scored our other 2 own goals this season? So we've got Yanel against Bournemouth. Who are the other 2?
Flekken
I've got
against Villa.
Not Flekken.
I've got Yanel against Spurs,
Yeah, no,
Yes.
against Tottenham.
That's one, yeah.
and I think Yanel scored all 3, didn't he, this season? But I couldn't tell you who the
No.
other one was.
No, he didn't get the 3rd one. This
Is it a
was
defender?
on opening day. First game of the season.
Oh, Pinnock scored it, didn't he?
Pinnock versus Palace and Yanel versus
I don't even
Spurs.
remember that goal.
So if I got Yanel versus Spurs, does that mean I get 1 point? Or did I have to do those
Yeah.
players?
We'll get if you got one of the 2, we'll give it to you. So a point each again.
I'm up to 10. Get in.
Who were the other 3 players apart from Ollie Watkins to score home and away against us this season?
Madison.
Nope.
Foden.
Garnacho was one of them,
Garnacho's one.
I've
and I
got no
put
idea.
Darwin
Madison.
Nunes for the other one. For another
No. So Isaac for Newcastle. And then the man we all hate, who shall not be named.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
my
Put
goodness,
all
Wilson.
these
yeah.
Fulham-related questions, Dan.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell us something.
I only put Garnacho because I'd purged those ones from the memory, so that's not fair.
You're trying to tell us something, Dan. Are you undercover?
Look, we've got to take the bad times with the good. We ended above Fulham. It's fine. Like, we can talk about it. It's okay. They got their biggest ever Premier League points total. We still ended above them. You know, just levels. You know.
Dan is a secret Putney fan from London in the chat. Yes.
Absolutely not. Who said that?
Right. Final round.
Moving on.
Ahead of the last set of questions. What are we on?
13
Or
points.
10.
8.
22.
Oh my
Craig
god.
is carrying the podcast.
22.
Not bad, Craig.
What you want in the chat?
Lord.
21. Craig takes the lead.
Craig takes the
Ooh.
lead with just 10 points left to play for.
Absolute scenes in the end of season quiz.
All right. So it's all on these 5 questions then between
Bloody
Craig
hell. Went down to the wire.
and I forgot the name of the person online. And
Freddie
I-
also on 21 in the chat.
All right, let's go. So Brentford ended the season with their second highest Premier League points tally and highest number of goals scored. But how many goals did we score exactly? And there's only 4 teams in the Premier League that scored more than us. So if you can name those 4 teams, you get a second point.
All 4, or do we get like 3 out of 4 again?
All for what? 1 point for naming how many goals Brentford scored exactly, and then 1 point if you can name the 4 teams.
Just trying to think about who scored a lot of goals.
Question 2. How many Premier League goals? I think we should get this one because it was after I wrote this question. I think Thomas Frank kept saying it. How many Premier League goals have Kevin Schade, Johan Wissa, and Bryan Mbeumo scored combined this season? And then again, there's only 1 Premier League front 3 who have scored more goals. Who is that?
Do we name the team or the 3 players?
Both. I put both in the answer. I think if you get the team, you've probably got the front 3. Or have you? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident with that.
There was 1 month where we failed to win any games in the Premier League this season. Which was it? So a whole month that we didn't win any Premier League games, a calendar month.
Not really a May-related question, is it, Dan?
May is like the end of the season. Look back at the season as a whole. And I couldn't put this question in the month for the question because, you know, I can tell you it wasn't May. The answer's not May. And then bonus point for listing who we played in the Premier League during that month.
We at least get a hint as to how many games.
Not too many. Not too many. I mean, you don't ever really play that many games in a month if you think about it. And obviously, some months you will play less than others. Where are Brentford placed in a combined Premier League table since promotion? So if the Premier League started the day we played Arsenal in our very first Premier League game and just continued since then, where would we be?
Woof. That's a good question.
And then there are 4 ever-present teams, so teams who have been in the Premier League for the same 4 seasons as we have, that are below us in this table. Who are the 4 ever-present teams who are below us?
Hmm.
And then the last one. Which side have Brentford accumulated the most points against since promotion to the Premier League?
Ooh.
Then the bonus is who have we accumulated the least points against? And there's 2 answers for the second part. So out of all those teams we've played in the Premier League, and we worked out how many it was in the earlier question, who have we got the most points against? And who have we got the least amount of points against? That's the last question.
Bravo, by the way. Very good quiz.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
quiz, Dan. Well in, mate.
Well done, mate. Well done, mate. That was
Not
very
too
good.
late for me to make a mistake.
My head is absolutely pounding right now with all that information. So Miranda's going to teach all the kids all this stuff when she goes to work tomorrow. So
I mean, I have to admire the questions. They are very spot on. The wording, you cannot argue with it.
yeah, would it pass the English test? You know.
Yeah,
was
all
it-
spot on. Not a
It's
single
got lawyer's
spelling
wording.
mistake. Not a single spelling or grammar mistake has been spotted.
Lucky
Love
I
it.
wasn't doing it then.
Yeah.
Just go pretty
Might be
nice.
next year, Callum.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Very
Callum quiz him up
great.
next year.
Oh dear.
All right, are we ready for the answers for the last 5?
Yeah, let's go for it.
How many goals did we score in the Premier League this season?
66.
66.
66 is correct. Who are the 4 teams that scored more than that?
Liverpool.
Spurs, Liverpool, City, Arsenal.
Man
I
City,
will-
Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal.
That's correct,
Liverpool.
Mike.
Oh.
I'm surprised that Spurs didn't make it. They were above us in most of the season, but we ended up
Oh.
scoring more than them in the end.
I got one wrong.
Get in.
I think
Tight
as they were
charge.
as they were
Back on.
focusing on Europe, and I mean they weren't very good all season, but they were particularly bad at the end.
Tight charge
And
back
we
on.
overtook them. Number 2, I suspect most of you have got this because Thomas Frank just kept saying it in his end of season interview. And I think it's been in the media here and there. So how many goals have Sharda, Wissa and Bryan scored combined this season?
50.
Yep. And who's the only front three to score more?
The Liverpool, I'm assuming it's going to be
Liverpool.
Salah, Diaz, and either Jota or Darwin Núñez.
Oh, it's Salah, Diaz and Gakpo.
Oh,
Surely you just get. Was it? Did you need the players as well?
If you just put Liverpool, I'll give it to you.
Get
I did
in.
put Liverpool, yeah.
Hey!
I just find it quite amusing that Craig said Salah, Diaz, and then either Jota or Núñez. And just forgot about
It was Gakpo.
They only scored 52, so we weren't far off from having the highest scoring front three in the Premier League. Obviously, with Jota and Núñez, they would have scored more if you did them as a 5. But that's pretty good. Which was the month where we failed to win any games this season?
February? I don't know.
I put November.
December.
No one said it yet.
September.
January.
September.
Oh,
It was when we
Oh.
these were the 3 games we scored in the first minute of, but we didn't win any of them.
Win any of them.
Yeah. So
That was
City,
actually-
Spurs, and West Ham.
We only played 3 league games. Oh,
International break in September as well, isn't there?
Oh, was there?
Cup game or 2 as well. I think we had a couple of Carabao Cup games. Where are we in a combined Premier League table since promotion?
11th.
12th.
Did someone say 10th?
No.
It's 10th.
Blimey.
Oh,
And
wow.
the 4 teams who are ever present that we sit above are West Ham, Crystal Palace, Wolves, and Everton.
Mm.
Oh,
We are proper mid-table, aren't we?
God. Did we have to get all 4?
I got 3. Please give us the point.
I got Everton, Palace, Wolves, and I put Bournemouth.
Did anyone get 4?
No, I got 3. I put
Did
Forest.
anyone in the comments get all 4?
Trevor Inns has just said he got 1,000.
If nobody got all 4, then if you've got 3, I'll give it to you.
Yes, I'm on double figures. Yes.
Took you long enough.
Wind your neck in.
Which side? So we'll deal with this in 2 questions. So which side have Brentford accumulated the most points against?
West Ham.
Oh,
I put
Yeah,
Bournemouth.
I've gone
I
for
think
West
that's
Ham
wrong.
as well.
It's
Yeah,
West Ham. So we've had
Ah.
19 points against West Ham. Who have we accumulated the least points against? So there's 2 teams for this one.
Is it current or is it someone who's out?
Liverpool and Newcastle.
Arsenal and Newcastle.
No, so I think
Liverpool
Callum's
is-
more on the right lines. It's a bit of a trick question.
Burnley.
Not
We
Burnley.
beat Burnley. No, it's got to be Liverpool and something else, right?
No, it's not. It's not any big teams. So
Oh.
we've had. I remember beating Liverpool. I remember drawing it. So we've got at least 4 points against Liverpool. There are 2 teams that we've played in the Premier League that we've only got 3 points against, but it's a bit of a trick question.
Hmm.
A bit of a
got
trick
no idea.
question. Oh, Sheffield United, because we beat them at home and then lost to them away.
Yes,
so
we've
that's
only
one
played
of
them twice, and we only got 3 points.
So that's one of
won
them.
1 and lost 1, and another
So that-
team in a similar scenario.
God.
Leeds.
Not
Norwich.
Leeds.
We beat them away
Norwich,
and lost to them at
yes.
home.
Oh.
So
Damn it!
it's
I
West
didn't
Ham,
write
we've
those
had
down. I bloody
19
got it
points
afterwards.
against. I thought most people would go with big teams here, but I thought
Very good. That's very good, Dan. That was very good.
I got both of them afterwards. If I lose by a point now, I'm really going to be frustrated.
add the scores up
Scores on
out
the
of
doors.
60.
Oh, this is a shit show. Up to 60.
So
Oh, bloody hell.
for
Oh.
everyone.
Did you need to remind us all how many points we're looking for? Because that does not make for nice reading.
That was really difficult, Dan. Fair enough, mate.
We've
Fair
got
Dan, can
60.
you go through every question again, please?
play.
So have we got a winner? Who's got the most out of 60?
I got
Craig
14.
out of us, I'm assuming.
Not me.
Freddie's on
Victor.
25 overall.
25 to beat Craig.
Wonder what Josh is on.
I'll wait to see if we get any other comments.
Owen on
through.
13. It's a good effort. It's not a poor effort. Well played,
How
Owen.
many's Trevor on? Trevor's very quiet.
Trevor's
Josh is on
58.
25 as well.
Mm.
Do we have a winner?
Right. Well, I finished after getting 5 points that round. So I've got 1 from the first question, 2 from the second, 1 from the fourth, and 1 from the fifth. Means I finished on 27 points.
There we go.
Craig's won.
Where's the trophy?
Champion. We need a trophy.
Celebrate like you won the cup, Craig.
Well done, Craig. Really well done.
Get
Maybe,
up
maybe
there.
we should get a trophy for you. See if
I
we can
think so.
organise that. We'll end there because I'm conscious that we're almost been going for 2 hours now. But yeah, great careers, Dan. We're going to take a break from the pod at least for this month, but let us know who you'd like to get on as a guest the most, because we've had conversations and we can't quite nail it down, but we have had guests on previously, so there may be some ways where we can kind of get a few favors of people that we've spoken to in the past. Let us know in the comments section once this video has been posted, or tweet us or do whatever to get in touch and let us know who you'd most like to have on the pod. Brentford current, Brentford previous, and we'll see what we can do with regards to that. But apart from that, guys, have a nice month or 2 off, and we'll be back next season, won't we?
Up the
Up the
bees.
bees.
Thanks everyone for
Thanks for the
listening.
quiz.